music.
Party's not a party's a man who fights crime, and we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time with John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minutes!
Hell here, and welcome to another week of Bat Minutes Returns, the podcast where we don't know about you, but we feel like looking at Tim Burton's 1992 Batman Returns movie 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And here to make your week so much yummier, it is I, John Parker.
And we are joined this week by another guest, one whose voice may be familiar to some, if not all of you. We have from the Matrix Minute, Phil Dragash.
Hi, how's it going?
Phil's undergone some changes since the last time he's been on the show.
No, it's good. I'm fine. I am the knight.
He's back. He's back in the house.
I'm back. I don't know if anybody remembers me from Batman Minute 89 from last year, but I am here. And fun fact, really quickly. Yes, it's true. We did the Matrix Minute, and I have to say that it's a retired show. We finished it, this spring. So we're not doing the sequels, unlike you guys, which is excellent because you're going to get a lot more mileage, of course, and a lot more audiences and all that kind of cool stuff that goes with tackling such a big franchise. But I just wanted to say one more thing before we continue. I think last time when I was on your wonderful program for 89, I was drinking tea. And we were talking about the differences between tea and coffee. Are you a coffee or tea guy? Well, this time, I have some coffee.
Oh. Was that deliberate? You've deliberately switched.
It was not deliberate.
I'm on the Red Bull, so does that count as kind of both? I don't know.
Oh, my.
Caffeine.
Oh, I'm on water. I feel really dull now in comparison.
And let me just say, I can't blame you for not doing the Matrix sequels.
No.
That would be a slog. That would be a very difficult challenge.
Yeah, exactly. It was never in the cards for any of us. I have two co-hosts, and they're both related to me, but so we grew up within the, like talking and experiencing the Matrix together and everything. So like the sequels included, and it would have been so difficult considering the experience that we had doing those movies by minutes kind of format. Yeah.
I think probably difficult. A lot of people, I know the first Matrix because I've seen it a bunch of times, and I've seen both of the sequels one time each. I never rewatched them.
Yeah.
So again, to listen to the show, I'd be like, oh, I'd have to watch the friggin' movies again. It would just be
I know. I know. That's just how it is. But to be honest, I do feel like because we did two special episodes in our Matrix Minute on Reloaded and Revolutions, which are fairly long. But I have to say that conceptually they are really, really interesting, and I think there's a lot of creativity there. But the way it was executed wasn't really up there.
Speaking That's a perfect way of putting it, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. And with that in mind, I think Batman Returns is maybe on the same pedestal, or is it not? I am not sure.
Oh, that's a thing we'll have to go into, because as I recall, I don't want to be talking out of school, but I remember last time you were on, Phil, and at one point when John had left the green room, as it were, you said to me that you didn't really like this movie. You kind of had trepidations about whether it was a good film or not. So, and you were I think you might have been the only person who said that last year. Everyone else was like, "Oh, this is the best one." So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to defend myself here, but I will say that this is the first Batman movie I ever saw. This was the first one I ever got to see. In fact, that's when we went. I think I was 7 or 8, and this was if I was 8 back then, it was 1997. So I went with my parents to the bookstore, and they happened to have some VHSs to buy.
Oh, remember them?
Yeah.
It's like the VHS is just things they used to sell in bookstores, apparently.
That's well, yeah. I mean, I think bookstores these days also have Blu-rays and audio CDs, so it's not. I wouldn't say it's too, different. The thing is, I lived in Austria back then, so it was all in German. That is irrelevant to what I'm talking about, but I just wanted to put that fact out.
Interesting nonetheless. Yes.
Interesting nonetheless, that's right. Well, there was a choice between Batman and Batman Returns. Now, as a child, I don't think I told you guys this on this podcast, but I was a severe sort of drinker of the Kool-Aid. So whatever the TV would tell me is the best, well, it's the best. So that's why I was one of those kids who thought Batman and Robin was the latest and greatest, best movie from Batman.
Yeah, I think I probably was the same.
Yeah, because like as a kid, I didn't have my own opinion, and this was the newest, so it's the best one. I couldn't discern. Yeah. So in that case, why would I get Batman 1 if there is a Batman 2? You know what I mean? That's obviously better. It has 2 on it. It's double the quality. Batman Returns. So I got
It has
that
to be, because they've
VHS.
perfected it.
Yeah, exactly. So I got that VHS, and I got to watch Batman Returns, and that was the first one that I got to see. So it has a lot of nostalgic, creepy vibes, as far as I'm concerned, because I was a little traumatized, especially at the end there, with Max Schreck's burnt up, weird little toaster body there at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Scared me. And so like even just the tone of it just was creepy to me. But I enjoyed it as a child and I liked it. So, but looking back at it now, I do believe that there's something amiss with it, and it's hard to actually like exactly tell you what that is. But maybe we can talk about it as we continue with.
Yeah.
I mean, I would suggest that it probably is related to the tone, which works for some people and doesn't for others. Because despite Niall saying all of our guests said they loved it, you're certainly not alone in not being 100% keen on it. Because if you look at the internet, there's plenty of people saying this isn't a Batman movie.
Oh yeah, totally. I know that Kevin Smith, the guy who made Clerks, obviously, he did a commentary. I think I used to be able to just get it on YouTube. I think
Oh
they've taken it
man,
down
I
since.
love those. I love Kev's commentaries on all of these.
But the thing is, though, he and Mark Bernard, they really hate this movie. They're just sitting ripping into it the whole time. And I remember listening to them and like, what the hell's the matter with these guys? Why do they hate this movie so much?
Yeah.
But oh well, that's
Well,
I can't
why
get
do
on
you
board
guys-
with that particular one.
I'm gonna have to ask, why do you guys like it?
I think I went through a period of like as a Bat fan throughout the years, because this probably would have been the first Batman movie I saw as well. Like when it hit VHS back in '92 or '93, whenever it would have landed, and loved it then. Always had more of a thing for the first one because I just preferred the Joker as a villain and stuff. And then over the years, you grow up, and then you had like the Nolan movies, and they emphasize this whole gritty realism, and you're like, yeah, that's the way it should be. That's cool. And then it kind of became like, oh, those campy Burton movies, they're okay, but they're a bit silly. And now I think in an age where you get like you're beaten over the head with very uniform superhero movies, like Marvel stuff, it's all great, but it all very much fits in line with what Jon Favreau set out with Iron Man. It's like, this is the tone, and they're all kind of like that, and they progressively get a little bit weirder every time. Like they're easing you into like first one, like, oh, here's a guy in a suit, and then by like the 16th movie, they're like, okay, so here's a talking tree, if that's not too weird. Whereas Batman Returns is wholeheartedly just goes in like, here's a crazy weird movie. This is a family movie, and you just landed it on people, and it's so just unashamedly itself that I have to respect it for that. And two, I actually genuinely prefer the iterations of the characters. Like I think this is the best version of the Penguin. I think it's the best version of Catwoman, and it's So this one's come around for me. Like there was a period a couple of years ago I would have been like, yeah, it's all right. It's not the best. But like now, I still wouldn't say it's the best, but I would say like, no, this is a terrific film. So
to me, it is the best, absolutely, and it's been the best to me since I was a child, since it came out. I think because I approach Batman as a movie fan rather than a comic book fan, I don't get annoyed by any of the changes to the characters or anything. That never once crossed my mind. It never thought about it. I just appreciated it as a movie on its own.
Okay.
And I love the tone. I've always loved dark, twisted humor and things like that. You know, I mean, like, you're a kid growing up with the Addams Family.
This, John, yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to say this. I agree with you guys.
You've come back around to liking it now. Then,
I have. I watched it recently, and I think everything that you said pretty much stands. And I completely agree, especially with what you're talking about as, you know, when they wanted to make this film as its own film and just taking inspiration from the comics rather than being the comics. That's this kind of film, and it's very unique in the fact that Burton was able to do whatever, you know, they wanted, what he wanted to do, and
total freedom.
That makes it a relic, and I really like it as what it is. But the only thing I would disagree with you guys on is just there's something strange just structurally as a movie, in my opinion, and that's about it.
In terms of minute by minute stuff, there is some sort of structural stuff we've already kind of talked about, in that like a lot of scenes have been reshuffled from the original script outline, because there was a long period where, like, I think it goes for like 20 minutes where you don't see Catwoman again, or you don't see Selina Kyle. You kind of introduce her and they drop her for a while. And then
weird things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they had to go like, oh no, we need to put her back up here front. And then this is like, I think like we see the Penguin at the end of this week, and I think that might have been about, on the show, it might have been like a month since we've had to talk about the Penguin, because he's been gone for like such a long period of the film. But
that's crazy when you put it that way.
Yeah, because it was at least 4 weeks without him. So
yeah, that's the kind of thing that bugs me when I watch it. But I'll have you know, throughout the year, you know, since we talked in, you know, Batman 89, I watched it again, and I have to say, I want to watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, I'm afraid I took a 180 here. So
so like it's
I'm
no one in here to condemn the movie. Everyone's gonna be nothing but we have to find someone who hates it now.
Nothing. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I might not say many bad things about it.
Oh well.
That's fine. That's good. Obviously, it'll be easier. But, you know, I think it'd be hard to find someone who actually hates the movie. There's one or two.
Yeah, well, ain't me.
You might go, oh, I don't like it. It's not a very good Batman film. No, very few people like actually think, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah. I think our best bet would be to track down people who have just genuinely never seen it and just be like, what do you think of this? And then just to try to gauge an initial reaction, just to see if there's any kind of like, oh, that was weird, like whatever. But
oh, by the way, guys, I just wanted to say that I do own, or I used to own, most of the Happy Meal toys that came with us.
Oh,
yeah.
Amazing. So they actually got out to some kids before people complained.
I think they actually like beyond the complaints, they did have to continue the run of the Happy Meal toys of just like, no, we have to see this contract through. So it was just sort of there. That's when they tried to spin that. I think that's when they try to spin that whole like, oh, it's just a celebration of Batman. The character has nothing to do with this movie. It's like, you got Batman Returns written over everything. What the hell are you talking about?
It's a coincidence.
But anywho, we're like 10 minutes into the show. We're actually here to talk about.
You know what? This happened during The Matrix as well. We just kind of trailed off all the time later on.
That's right. This is all material that people would have been getting at some point, and so we were just much, you know, like they reshuffled scenes in the script. We've had the reshuffle. We won't I'm not going to do the editing to put this at the end of the third minute or anything, but people can just accept it. Like, yeah, this is the way this week starts. But eventually, 15 minutes in, we can say we're here today to talk about minute 34 of Batman Returns in particular. Minute 34 begins with Selina Kyle going to work on her Belvedere, and it ends 1 minute later with a bunch of people sitting about. It's big iconic minute, kind of, and then it ends in a very like, like a real dry note. And it's not like a brief one. It's like a good 10 seconds of just like, oh, okay.
It's like they didn't consider us podcasters when they made this damn movie.
I will say, though, before we get into minute 34 proper, I did have an additional note here because I just recently discovered this myself, and the minutes have gone past, so like I better put it in now, just because otherwise it'll never have been said on the show. I was recently flipping around the television, as you do, and I came across the movie from the early 2000s called Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz.
Oh.
And the whole plot of that movie is that Frankie Muniz has gone to war with Paul Giamatti, and he's like a big hotshot producer, and he's stolen Frankie Muniz's idea for a script and made a big hit movie out of it and stuff. But there's a scene near the end where they have a big chase, much like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. They have a chase through a movie set. And it's through like I guess it's like the Warner Brothers lot or something. And you see a bunch of different characters from different movies in the background. And at one point, you see, you'll remember during the attack on Gotham Plaza, we had those very distinctive, I think they called them motorcycle maniacs, and the guys riding the motorcycles with the big skull heads and the kind of bobble eyes. Those guys are in the background of Big Fat Liar during that scene. So they obviously just went like, just
great.
take a bunch of old props we got just lying in storage and just stick them up somewhere. So yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, if you watch the end of Big Fat Liar, those guys are there. But anywho, that's not involved with minute. We will talk about minute 34 of this movie eventually. But
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, 'cause we've got, as you say, we've got Selina here going to work on the sewing machine in the drag race workroom.
That's right. This is one of I think this is my favorite scene of the entire movie. The one where Selina comes back. She's like, honey, I'm home. That's right, I'm not married. And that
What a
whole
coincidence
thing.
we gave you the minute then. That wasn't set up.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I got tail end of it. The tail end, you see, because of cats and all that. This is my favorite scene. After watching it, I think I watched it this year, sometime. And it's wonderful. The music is wonderful, even though I know that Danny Elfman didn't have a good time doing this music, but
He says that a lot, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't like what he's done. He's like, nah, that soundtrack's no good. And you're sat there thinking, yes, it is. What the hell are you talking about? I think it's the curse of the artist, not liking what they've produced.
That's right. And the way that Michelle Pfeiffer, I love you, Michelle Pfeiffer, how she just passionately puts on those gloves, and the entire scene that happened beforehand, and how just crazy it feels, and how it scarred me as a child as well, to be honest. Like, that always scared me, especially the part where, did you guys talk about the finger chewing cats, which made no sense to me, but
Yeah, hang on. This is a really good point to bring up, because we've had an argument about this. Do you think she's dead and the cats are like magical cats that have brought her back to life, or is she alive and they've somehow given her power? This
is going to be your traditional question you're going to ask everybody, right? Because it's very important. Because
I think so. And I believe she's dead. Niall believes otherwise.
Yes, I'm gonna go with John on this one, just because John, you're the one who said it was she's dead, right? And she comes back to life. Yeah. Just because, first of all, we have the whole 9 lives thing at the end, which also doesn't make any sense. It could be, it could be just the shock to the system, as all the adrenaline, but that's. Who cares? There's a penguin man and, all this other weird stuff happening. So, this is not far off the ballpark to be considered something like that. And when I was a kid, I always thought that she did resurrect. And these cats just kind of, resurrected.
Resurrected by chewing her?
I don't know. Yeah.
It would have been great if Tim Burton could confirm this in like Batman 3 with like Ra's al Ghul, where instead of like the Lazarus pit, he just goes and lies in a bunch of cats every time he needs to be revived. It's like, that's how it works in these movies. It's like,
that's what's actually in the Lazarus pit.
I think he has aquatic cats.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. The rare aquatic cats.
But we do get seeing some of the details here of Selina's workbench. We get the 3 pairs of scissors, 2 of them pink, which is, you can just imagine a situation of like, oh god damn it, I lost a pair of scissors. Oh crap, I'll go out and then go into the same shop, buying the same pair, and then eventually they showed up again. Like,
I know, yeah.
I got 2 pairs of pink scissors now, and then eventually like. Yeah, and eventually she finds like the blue one she lost like 2 months ago. Like, oh god, what the hell? But we already saw a bit of the kind of wire clipper she has, and she got a screwdriver on there for some reason as well. Don't know what the screwdriver, what purpose that's serving, unless it's there for maintenance of the sewing machine, I guess.
Could be, I suppose. I was mostly baffled that a woman like Selina, who it's established already, isn't the most fashionable person in the world. They try and dress her down a little bit, make her look a bit frumpy. But why has she got a sewing machine and all this stuff?
I would have assumed that, because I think they didn't really. I think they kind of had her in a nice in-between phase where like she's a bit frumpy looking, but she's not like coming into the office wearing like garish, horrible colors and stuff. So she does have an inkling of fashion sense. I wonder that because she is working for like the guy who's in charge of a department store. Maybe she's trying to get into like textiles or something. Maybe that's why she wants to work her way up the Shrek ladder. She's like, oh, if I get on top of this, maybe I can get my own fashion line out of this or something. And maybe she is a big clothes maker because she makes this freaking catsuit in one night. So I guess she
with one jacket,
right? But maybe she just resurrected and just got these talents just out of nowhere.
See, that is the only thing I could ever think of when I was a kid. I just assumed somehow the cats had imbued her with this ability.
Well, all cats know how to sew, so that's...
Of course.
Like, I think it's safe to say this movie doesn't really operate in the realm of logic very much.
No.
Yes, that's fair.
So, I mean, I love all the explanations because, like, I never think of this stuff ever. It's like, for me, it's usually like emotionally driven. Like when you watch a movie, I'm not exactly keen on seeing the logic and how things actually fit together very well. But in this case, I think, it's just whatever, it works. It works. That's it. You're watching it and it works. It's not pulling you out of the story. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, you don't really question it until you look at it minute by minute. When you're watching it as a film, you don't care. You're like, oh, this is a great scene.
So, like, you must be getting like some kind of flashbacks watching this too, Phil, because like after spending a guts of a year analyzing The Matrix, a film famous for people clad in latex overcoats and stuff like that. Like, there you go again. It's still the same damn material keeps popping up in your life.
When I was a teenager, I bought like a Neo coat replica.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah, so I'm loving it.
I thought it was like Neo's coat was always okay because his was just like kind of normal material. It was always when you got into that weird snake skin material that Morpheus had, and then Trinity's outfit was just
PVC.
Yeah, so it's just like so I think Trinity is the one who's dated the most in that movie.
But you say dated, but at the same time, I wouldn't change anything about that. That's fantastic. I want it to be dated.
No, no, it remains as a staple in late '90s pop culture. Like that's the zeitgeist that it is.
Exactly. When you watch that movie, you're transported back to that time.
I guess you could also say, I'm sure you guys probably did at the time, but like the fact that if you go into the Matrix, then you can make yourself look however you want to look. You can wear the clothes, whatever you. So Trinity herself, maybe she is just a bit of a fetishist, and she's like, yes, I like tight PVC. That's all I want to wear all the time. Like this is just my. And it's like, it was not a fashion statement. It's just like, no, this is how I get my rocks off. It's just, I might as well enjoy myself while I'm in here.
Yeah, she watched Batman Returns at some point as a young lady.
Yeah, that could actually be the plot, I suppose.
There you go.
That could be in The Matrix.
Yep, they're both Warner Brothers films.
Yeah, the thing is that Carrie-Anne Moss could have made a good Catwoman as well, actually, because considering as well that she would the next guy who would bring Catwoman or Selina Kyle to the screen was Chris Nolan, and she worked with Chris Nolan in Memento. But I guess by the time Dark Knight Rises came around, it's like, oh, Carrie-Anne Moss, it's like, what, she over like 40 now? It's like, no, there's no way we're doing that with the. That's not the way Hollywood works.
Oh, so. I mean, yeah. But I
do find the way she acts. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I just like I was gonna say the exact same thing. I love the passion that she's putting into like putting on her glove and that face and the look of insanity and the wonderful music. That I talked about that, didn't I? Yeah. But it's great.
No, but that's a great thing because it's kind of like overacting. Like she's going kind of overboard with it, but it works because this character has snapped. Like whether she was dead, whether she was alive, whatever, she's her mind has gone now. She's a different person. Yeah. She's transformed.
That's the thing, because she's putting those gloves on. She's putting OJ to shame here. It was like, that's how you put on a glove, OJ. You jam it on there. But I have to wonder, did the gloves come with the raincoat? Or did she individually make these gloves as well? Because that's not. I don't think we ever see the gloves like hanging off the hanger with the coat or anything. So
no,
I thought she made them from that one coat. Still,
so that's the one accessory I could buy. Like, oh no, the coat has glove accessories as well. But like the fact she also had to sit down and make a freaking pair of gloves on top of everything else. It's like so much work to be done this one night.
When you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Exactly. That's it.
We recorded this whole podcast in one night.
Although this Star Wars Minute, they kind of did like the guts of a movie in one like weekend or something, didn't they? Like they just had a relentless recording session.
No way.
I know they do a lot in one go.
Yeah. I think they had one where it was
crazy.
just like a weekend where they got through like 20 plus episodes, something like that, which is, I guess if they do 5 a week, that's probably not that big a deal to them, but like to us, that'd be insane. Oh. No, I was just going to say we also get a little allusion to Selina's cat claws, which she's making.
I was going to say the same thing!
Oh,
hey!
there you go. But because she has here, I think it's a thimble. That's a very sharp thimble.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. It's
I was
like,
gonna ask, like, what are they making this out of? Like, what is she making this out of anyway? Like, I know I saw some photos of the claws, but
yeah, well, because the claws aren't uniform. Like they're like unless you're watching with a keen eye. And this one, you're like, I always assume it's like, oh, she has a bunch of these same thimbles, and that's what she made them out of. But then you see the concept art and stuff that they did for them, which was drawn up by a fella called Bryson Pete Gerard, who had to submit it for approval to Timmy B. Pete Gerard was a model maker, worked on loads of stuff as a model maker, including Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the remake of The Blob, Terminator 2, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Starship Troopers, My Stepmother is an Alien, of course, starring Vicky Vale from the last movie, and also did model work on the original Ghostbusters, which of course has that weird, in the spin-off, the Ray Parker Jr. video, has that complete out of nowhere cameo by Danny DeVito.
Why not?
That is very good. If you saw that video first, but like if you saw the video first and then you were like, oh, they got all these celebrities at the end, like Jeffrey Tambor's here, and like the friggin' Columbo's, and are these people all in Ghostbusters? And like, nope. Just has
oh no.
Says Danny DeVito going Ghostbusters. That's like it never shows up in the movie.
I don't mind that. I think I like it when videos, do something a little bit different. That's cool.
Yeah.
But if you got a close up of the concept art that he did, some of them are made out of like, it looks as if she's almost got like a little pair of like scissors or something that you use to clip your nose hairs, and she's jammed that in there.
Yeah.
A lot of them seem to be constructed out of like wire and stuff like that. And
yeah, wire.
Yeah, I think she's just sticking things into the thimbles.
Yeah. I think it's
basically anything sharp.
She was on a creative high, obviously, and that's what you do in one night of passion, so to speak.
Yes, that is 100% right. She was letting everything flow out of her.
Exactly.
Any idea she had, just put it down, do it.
And those are one of the things. Like this kind of art direction, this kind of design aesthetic was something that did kind of disturb me as a kid, though. So, just a fact.
Oh, good. It's supposed to. It's designed to.
It actually touches on something we get a fair bit in the next shot. Like after she's started to work on the gloves. We of course then have the classic shot of Selina like through her window, and we see, of course, that we didn't know what it said previously. The hello there sign has turned into hell here, which I know a lot of people.
I love it.
Yeah, should actually note as well, Phil, that you did for our show logo. You did the returns in this writing.
I did.
Yeah, just very thankfully stepped in because I did the bat logo thing with the writing in the middle of that, and then I was just like,
it was very nice.
But I have no idea how to work like Photoshop or anything like that. So I was just like,
more than me.
But I was gonna really be like, okay, I'll ask Phil how he would do it, and then within 10 minutes, you just like, oh, here you go, it's done. So thanks very much for that. Saved me a lot of. Cause I guarantee you, whatever I came up with would have looked like crap. So.
Now this hell here thing though, it's so sort of silly and cheesy because like why would she even have the hello there sign? But I love it because this visual, it's worth it just for this shot of her at the window. I think
yes,
it looks incredible, and I like the kind of implication. Oh, Selina's going to turn her hell into her heaven.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what do you guys actually think the hell here is referring to? Because we did touch on in the original Dan Waters draft. It was originally Hello Selina and then changed to Hello Sin, which is like, it's a bit more like, she's now become a villain. But this is like, is this saying that the wreckage of the life she previously had, like that she's casting off, that was the hell? So this is going, hell was here. This world I was in was hell.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Or is it or is she trying to go for like, no, this is, I am now going to raid hell. I am the hell. I'm going to like spill out now into the city and take out. Well,
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
So.
Well, I actually thought it was basically, this is going to sound a bit weird, a combination of the two. I thought it was basically she's lived in hell all this time. And now it's driven her to this. So she's going to take hell out to the people who've caused her harm. Yeah. She's going to spin it around on them and twist it.
Because it does.
All these points are really good.
It does work as well, like in the fact that she's going to bring out hell, because this is the first time we see the exterior of Selina's apartment. We've always been interior, but now what was once interior has become exterior. So that means like all this,
almost like a metaphor.
Yeah, all the stuff she had hidden inside is now burst out. And I did note, actually, I never noticed it before, but on the walls of her apartment building, it has all these weird things like, so it looks a bit like veins, or it could be like very similar to the patchwork kind of quality of Catwoman's suit that you'll see in more detail later.
Oh, yeah.
And it almost looks a bit like sort of like Frankenstein-y kind of skin and stuff, like all sewn together.
Oh yeah. You're talking about the outside of the apartment building, like the
It's all the sort of I think they're just like, oh, it just looks decrepit, but it also looks like this. And this is now, again, the exterior of Selina's life is the Catwoman suit. That's who she is now, and it's very similar to the sewing on her cat suit. So I'm assuming that was a deliberate thing that they did. We'll also note as well, because some people might be frustrated. I've discovered this before we took on this project. I don't think we mentioned it, but there is a director's commentary for Batman Returns, right, with Tim Burton, that is exclusive to DVDs in the US. And I've bought the special 2 discs.
Serious?
Yeah, I've got the 2-disc special edition DVD released in the UK. Doesn't have the commentary, so.
Sucks, man.
So Tim Burton might clarify everything here. We don't have access to that, so
that's too bad.
Let's be honest now, right? The commentary last time for the first movie, it was interesting, but it didn't reveal anything that would help us on the podcast.
No, that's the thing. I think that's the thing about Tim Burton. He doesn't really talk that much about stuff.
No.
Yeah, I would go one further to say, John, it wasn't very interesting because it was really and the thing is, I've read reviews of the DVD reviews when the US version hit, and people were praising all the extras and stuff, but the one thing they're like, Tim Burton does this commentary, it's tough to get through because he's not saying much. And it's like, oh well,
he's a reserved kind of guy who probably didn't want to do it. He was probably told he had to do it.
But then again, he does a lot of commentaries for other things, so there has to be some sort of willingness on his part.
I don't know. He probably just accepts, like, okay, I'm gonna have to do that. It'll help sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. What else can I say about this scene here? This first time we see Catwoman.
Yeah.
In full.
We got a nice contrast because we talked about earlier in the scene the fact that like you're introduced Selina as she comes in the apartment through a silhouette in a doorway, which is very much the way they did with the Joker in the first movie. Before he was revealed, you saw him in a silhouette in a doorway, and now this one's like I used to always think this was a doorway, but it's just a window. But it's like the flips. Yeah. It's like a bookend to the scene where it's like this was her previously, the silhouetted broken woman, and this is the silhouette of the woman she has become. So it's
nice.
She looks very different. So all of a sudden, she's very sultry.
Oh yeah.
I do wonder actually as well that like because they have her voice has completely changed. Like she has the classic line, you know, I don't know about you, Miss Kitty, but I'm feeling so much yummier.
Yummy,
which is great. Yeah, great.
Oh, as quoted by one of my favorite drag queens, Alaska Thunder.
Hey. I think, are we gonna have to bleep the name?
Yep.
It's gonna be Alaska Thunder bleep. So
they're not allowed to be called that on Drag Race. They just have to be called Alaska.
Oh.
But yeah. So, but you will know that her voice has gone much deeper and much more sultry, and apparently part of that is for practical purposes. In that Tim Burton told Michelle Pfeiffer mid-shooting to speak in a lower register because of the catsuit pressing into her head. She used to just default by shouting her lines because she couldn't hear herself. And then so Tim was like, well, to work around that, just speak lower so it sort of reverberates in your head a bit more. But
well, that's good advice, actually.
Yeah. But also as well, like I think it's marked it could mark the personality change of Selina. Or is this always the way Selina talked? And now it's only because I wonder if she had what's known in not the biz, but what's known to people as a waitress syndrome, which is where apparently a lot of women who I don't know, maybe it happens to men as well, but apparently a lot of women who work as waitresses have been found to they speak in a higher register with customers to be like more light and friendly and how's it going, people, and and apparently afterwards they have a lot of trouble switching out of that voice because they do it for so long. I do wonder if Selina actually put on a slightly higher voiced, not even she doesn't necessarily speak all that high, but she spoke on a different tone, and now this is the way she always kind of spoke, and this finally been unleashed again.
I think maybe this is the way she wants to be, the way she always wanted to see herself, but she couldn't, and now that restriction's lifted.
So I thought it might have been a nice tie-in to, like we talked about, the first movie. Michael Keaton was very proud of the fact that he was the first chimpanzee ever to be born to a circus. No, he was the first person to think, Batman should have two different voices. So he came up with the whole idea of like, no, he talks a little raspier and stuff. And Kevin Conroy, in the animated series, he took that one step further and an even cleverer twist, where he actually had Bruce Wayne's real voice is the Batman voice. Like he talks the way when Bruce Wayne is in private, he just talks like Batman. That's his voice. And then when he's out in public, the Bruce Wayne voice is, "Hi, how's it going? Yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne," and the very higher, more friendly, like the waitresses do.
Okay, yeah, that at first.
And then Christian Bale totally went the full Monty.
The full Monty. Oh, right. Sorry, it took me a second to register with it. Oh God. The thing is, though, that was Christian Bale trying to pitch that to Chris Nolan. Like, what if Bruce Wayne in private always talked like this the whole time? Like that, I'm doing what Kevin Conroy did. Chris was like, I don't say no to a lot of things.
Alfred, I could have saved her, Alfred.
That's not deep and growly enough. Even more.
There is a scene at the end of the Dark Knight when he's showing Lucius Fox that big what do you call it? The big machine he's made so he can track the Joker's.
Yeah, the scanning machine. The Facebook.
But he's talking to Lucius like this. And I remember at the time, but like, Lucius Fox knows who you are, dude. No one else is in the room. Why are you talking like that? But I guess maybe they're like, nah, he sounds silly if he just talks he sounds even sillier if he just talks like Christian Bale when he's got the suit on. So I guess he has to put on, or maybe there was like, no, when he's got the suit on, he's Batman, and he talks like that to anybody the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I think that probably is the explanation. Like when he's got the suit on, he's a different person, much like Selina here.
Yeah.
He's not Bruce.
Yeah, and so I guess we've technically said goodbye to Selina as well, because this really isn't Selina. This isn't this ain't your mama's Selina Kyle. This is a whole different kettle of fish.
Are you quoting James Cameron?
No, I just said a thing. I didn't realize that was
because he said this ain't your. I can't remember if it was mama's or papa's. It was like, this ain't your mama's Titanic.
Oh well. I just hope he doesn't come looking for me now. It's like, I got a copyright on This Ain't Your Mama's. So, Jim, you got enough money.
Well, I'm just happy I got at least most of a minute dedicated to Selina Kyle. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you.
Do you have a favorite Catwoman? Would it be this Catwoman, or have you got another one?
Yeah, that's about it. I don't know any other ones. The other ones weren't strong enough for me.
No, I mean, that's fair enough.
That sounded strange, but yeah.
A lot of the time, they're kind of... I find most of the Catwoman characters a little bit annoying, to be honest.
Yeah, like, it's just... they didn't feel very... They just felt like characters that would say a few quippy lines and either be, here and there, kind of either helping out or stealing things, or,
and that's it.
Betraying Batman at some point, yeah.
But yeah, that's fair enough. We do technically get, the scene does switch to an overhead shot of Gotham Plaza. We're back. It's been a while, but we're back in Gotham Plaza.
Yeah, we're back. Gotham Plaza. That's just about the entire city right there.
Yeah, there's not much more, to be honest.
Yeah, they took down the cinema and replaced it with the Gotham Plaza here.
It was one of those things, like when I was rewatching this in anticipation for like recording the show, like the whole movie, like before we even started the season. I'd never noticed before, like that scene of like Selina and Bruce when they're out talking in the street later on, like that's Gotham Plaza as well. I was like, holy crap, couldn't they not even just go out into a city street? Did everything have to be in the plaza? And
another thing that's back as well as the plaza is the fact that clearly we are about to see another press conference. The Batman staple.
The press conference.
There's a lot of dull press conferences in these movies.
Hey, maybe this one won't stay dull, though. We'll have to see what happens next minute.
Ooh, who knows?
Oh,
teasing.
Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, I'm done for this minute of you guys. Unless you got anything else you want to chuck in, or?
I have one fact to share.
Oh.
Yeah, which I didn't bring up before because I'm stupid.
Oh.
Basically, in the Dan Waters draft, Selina makes her outfit out of a pink football jersey. Now, what the hell? Can you picture what this would look like at all? Because no, I can't.
Oh, see, like I took that in reading that draft. I took that differently. I thought that she had just wrecked the apartment, and then she was sitting in essentially as a pink jersey with kittens on it that she scrawled black over.
Yeah,
so I thought that was a certain.
She makes a rudimentary outfit out of that first.
Oh, so I took it to mean like, oh, she's made the thing, and then she's supposed to be sitting in the lotus position. And I thought like she's not in costume yet. She's in like just now I'm feeling so much yummier. Yeah, well, but I didn't realize that was supposed to be her in the outfit.
Well, it's not the outfit. Like that's not going to be her outfit for the rest of the script or anything.
Yeah.
But it's her first like yes, I am a new woman. I'm getting rid of this cute pink thing. Screw it.
Yeah. Just
right.
A lot of hatred of pink coming through in this movie. It's like pink's not. I don't wear pink myself, but it's not a bad color. So
you could see why to her character it would represent something she wants to destroy, though. I guess.
Exactly. That's good. Yeah.
You think though they would have had her instead of the kind of tweedy jacket T-shirt thing and the gray outfit she had earlier? You think that maybe they would have put her in a lot of pink earlier in the movie to make that pop more? But maybe they thought that was a bit
sorry,
too.
Niall. You should have directed this film. Okay.
We've all been saying it.
It's like I've been, in the age of Hollywood reboots, I am rebooting Batman Returns. I know from watching Big Fat Liar, they still got those friggin' motorbike guy outfits lying around somewhere.
Nice.
Oh, yes. Can you just reboot a sequel? Don't do the first one. Just
reboot the sequel. There's an audience for everything.
True.
But with the Dawn of the Dead, like the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, is just like, it's just I've just remade a sequel. I thought I'm not touching that first one.
But yes, we'll head off now into the dark night. Phil, would you like to tell our good listeners where they can find you and your great work online?
Well, thank you very much. You can find me at phildragash.com, which is an old website, but it's being renovated, and it's going to be better. But other than that, just go to thematrixminute.com, which is... Sorry, it's not .com. I mess that up every single time. Old habits die hard. It is thematrixminute.1.
I like that more.
And that's where our... Yeah, of course. Like, .com costs too much. So, Oh no, it was taken by these terrible people. You could actually see them up on matrixminute.com. Rubbish. There's nothing on it. But they took our URL, so we had to take that one, and of course it turned out to be the best.
Well, yeah, it fits the movie.
You can go there, listen. Yeah, you can go there and listen to our podcast there. Even though it's done, it's fun, and I enjoy it because not because I'm in it, but I actually have enough disconnect to have listened to it, this year, because we did it last year. And I think it's pretty good. It still holds up, so you should go and check that out. That's about it. You just search me on Google, Phil Dragash, Dragash.
Yeah, make sure you do check that out, because it's such a good show. And you all like The Matrix, surely.
Thanks.
If you don't like The Matrix, I don't want to know you. You can go away now. It's one of my favorites. And do
That's right.
get in touch with us. We're everywhere, as you probably know by now. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Review us on iTunes as well. And check out the song Nails by Alaska Thunder and Your Makeup is Terrible, because both of them reference this Selina Kyle. And we will see you again on Wednesday for minute 35 of Batman Returns.
What if I were to tell you there was another Bat Minute coming this Wednesday? You take the blue pill, you can go back to wolfing down cereal and hearing about what's 99% invisible. You take the red pill, and you may hear of a calisthenically inclined clown who captures an incumbent's kid and catapults down a manhole that's conspicuously without a lid. But could this dismounting mountebank actually be meeting with a murky mastermind? Unfortunately, no one can be told what the outcome of the next Bat Minute is. You have to tune in next time. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute, and hear it for yourself.